Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing, testing.
After Martin Luther King, resounded by Reverend Stephon Ferguson from Atlanta, Georgia. Are we ready?
I'm happy to see each of you out here tonight. In spite of a storm warning, you reveal that you are determined to go on anyhow. Something is happening in Memphis. Something is happening in our world. And you know, if I was standing at the beginning of time with the possibility of taking a kind of general and panoramic view of the whole of human history up to now, and the Almighty said to me, Martin Luther King, which age would you like to live in? I would take my mental flight by Egypt, and I would watch God's children in their magnificent trek from the dark dungeons of Egypt, across the Red Sea, through the wilderness and on toward the Promised Land. And in spite of its magnificence, I wouldn't stop there. I would move on by Greece and take my mind to Mount Olympus. And I would see Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Euripides, and Aristophanes assemble around the Parthenon. And every now and then we be thrown into the paddy wagon. Sometimes we were stacked in there like sardines in a can. And Bull Connor would tell them to take us off, and they would. And we would just go off in the paddy wagon singing, "We shall overcome." Then we'd be thrown in jail, and we'd see the jailers looking through the windows. They were being moved by our prayers. They were being moved by our words and our songs. There was a power in there that Bull Connor couldn't adjust to. And so he ended up transforming Bull into a spear, and we won our struggle in Birmingham. All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China, or even Russia, or any other totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. The denial of certain First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for rights. So just as I said, we aren't gonna let any dogs or any fire hoses turn us around. We aren't gonna let any illegal injunctions turn us around. We're moving on, and we need all of you. And so let me say, as I move to my conclusion, that we've got to give ourselves of this struggle until the end. Would be more tragic than to stop at this point in Memphis. We've got to see it through. When we have our march, you need to be there. If it means leaving work, if it means leaving school, be there. Be concerned about your brother. You may not be on strike, but either we go up together or we go down together. Let us develop a kind of dangerous unselfishness. So let us rise up with a greater readiness. Let us stand with a greater determination. Let us move on in these powerful days, these days of challenge, to make America what it ought to be. We have an opportunity to make America a better nation. And I want to thank God once more for allowing me to be here with you. I left Atlanta this morning And as we got started on the plane, there were 6 of us. The pilot said over the public address system, "We're sorry for the delay, but we have Martin Luther King on the plane." And to be sure that all the bags were checked, and to be sure that nothing would be wrong on the plane, we had to check out everything carefully. We've had the plane protected and guarded all night. And then I got into Memphis, and some began to say the threats. I talk about the threats that were out, about what would happen to me from some of our sick white brothers. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind like anybody. I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will, and He's allowed me to go to the mountain, and I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
That is Reverend Stephon Ferguson. He is licensed by the King Estate to bring this resound of honor. We're fortunate to have him at our We Have Decided to Be United tribute here on the 50th anniversary.